Just to place a little context here, uh, company Tara Jewels, we're an integrated fine jewelry company. We're in the business of manufacturing, export and retail of jewelry. We manufacture in India and China. We have a number of global patents to our name. In fact, it might surprise you, but one of the most modern jewelry factories in the world is the one that we have in Seeps, that the government actually has visitors come and visit. As far as export is concerned, we export to most important leading jewelry markets of the world. But what's unique there for us is we typically sell to the leading jewelry chains, which brings us to the third arm, which is retail. We entered India retail in 2010, so this is our fourth year. And we essentially saw an opportunity between what was either the smaller, as the gentleman there talked about the percentage of unorganized to organized, a very pertinent fact. 90% of the market even today is unorganized. We're talking about 200 to 400 square foot small stores where the product is not certified essentially. The gold may be questionable. And then there are these large palaces we saw in India which are 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 square foot, very large establishments where the stock could be between 50 to 200 crores per store. So our knowledge, working with international retailers for a long period of time, we realized that there wasn't a scalable, smart format present in the country, so to speak. We currently have 40 COCO stores across 12 states, and these are across metros, mini metros, class 1, 2, 3 and 4 towns. I must say that we are in 32 cities, of which Bombay and Delhi are only 2. So as we are currently across central, north and west India, we are across 30 of the smaller towns. We believe the bigger opportunity lies there. We believe that through media intervention over a long number of years, there is a certain lifestyle that consumers in those towns have been exposed to and aspire towards. But we believe that they are not being serviced. When we look at the sales in a Bombay and a Delhi, we forget to sometimes evaluate how much of that actually comes from customers who come from smaller towns. And we perhaps don't study enough what that opportunity could be if we were to place stores in those towns. So our thrust, really speaking, is first to place a jewelry store in all of India's jewelry clusters. Now, as you know, our market's a bit different. We're not always in malls. A lot of our sale comes out of jewelry clusters, and there are many, many of these in India that are yet unserviced. I also agree with the comment that Pradeep made on digital. From our perspective, having a seamless experience is clearly the way of the future. If you look at data today, about 1%, I'm told, roughly of retail in India is online. This is expected to grow to 8%, 8 to 10% by 2020. I think it's going to be true for all industries. I think the challenge for us as jewelers is how do we make that experience come alive online as it's going to be within our stores. First and foremost, as far as international retail is concerned, we currently don't own any stores outside of India. We work with leading jewelry chains, as I mentioned earlier, and there is a reason for that. We realized that there was a long way to go in terms of truly understanding international retail. So if you take the top 15 or 20 jewelry buying nations of the world and the top 3 chains in each one, then we would have very close relationships with them in each and every case. So to answer the first part of your question, we haven't looked at international retail directly yet, but it is definitely a possibility that is on the horizon. Part number 2, franchising. I think franchising for us, from the Indian context, was more about first setting up for ourselves what we believe the Tara experience would be. I think luxury, we are affordable luxury. I think it's all about experience. And we believe that there were some clear gaps in the country. And like I said earlier, having come up with this smart, scalable format, we needed to give the customer a very clear experience. Thanks to media intervention, already consumers in India had begun to ask for certification and a whole lot of other values in order to protect their investment. Added to this is the change that today adornment has become as important as the investment angle. So we decided that we would set up our own stores. As I mentioned earlier, they're all COCO currently, and we would run them for at least 3 to 4 years so we understand it ourselves before we look at franchising. We are going into franchising this year, as in this financial, and the process has only just begun. So I think I'll be able to feed in a little bit more about this 1 year down the line. Yes, there is a change definitely in the consumer mindset. True, jewelry is part of the Indian DNA. We're very lucky we don't have to create the market, so to speak. You said 40 billion. There are numbers that say 35 billion, so it's arguable what's the size of the market, but it's a very large market and it's growing fairly rapidly. And more important, the shift from the unorganized to the organized is a huge opportunity for all us organized jewelers. So there are 2 or 3 fundamental shifts. Number one, as consumers, as retail becomes more international and we have greater access to media, even the Indian consumer is now getting more and more conscious of trends. We're fortunate because we work in all the developed markets very closely. We design for them, we work with them. We're able to transcreate certain relevant trends from the international markets to the Indian market and offer it to consumers. And believe you me, she is changing. Earlier, well, almost 50% of the Indian jewelry market is wedding jewelry. Earlier, it used to be pretty large, probably not wearable for any other occasion but the wedding. Today, when she comes in for that wedding jewelry, she's asking for lighter, more modular pieces, as one example. Yeah. So there is a clear shift taking place, in the mindset in terms of wanting more wearable jewelry, 2, wanting to be aware of international trends, buying into them, 3, asking us questions about how to wear. This how to is becoming an important part. It's even at the wedding, forget the bride, even the guests want to know what do they wear to the sangeet, what do they wear to the cocktail, what do they wear to the wedding itself. So there is growing interest in trends, and therefore we spend a lot of time educating them. The other shift, of course, is while the investment value of jewelry remains very strong, there is definitely that shift towards adornment. And I think that would be, those would be the 2 single largest changes taking place in the Indian market.